Six miracles of the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad was no exception. He performed miracles that cannot be possible for any other human being to perform without the help of Allah. He was given many miracles throughout his life. This video will explore six miracles of the Prophet Muhammad that you may not have known. First, the splitting of moon. When the unbelievers challenged the Prophet to perform a miracle, he pointed towards the moon, and by the will of Allah, it split into two. That the Meccan people requested Allah's messenger to show a miracle, and so he showed them the splitting of the moon. Sahih Bukhari quotes. After some time of staying in that state, it eventually converged back to its original state. Although the disbelievers saw this event take place right in front of them, as clear as crystal, they still disbelieved, calling the Prophet a magician. Second, Prophet Muhammad's miracle of Isra and Miraj. This miracle refers to the night journey Muhammad made with the angel Jibreel. He went from Mecca to Jerusalem. From there he ascended up to the heavens to hold a communion with Allah. By the time he returned to Mecca, it was still night time. Third, Muhammad's miracle of the tree that cried. The Prophet would rest against a dry trunk and would deliver his sermons from there. When the Prophet's companions finally built him a pulpit to give the Friday sermons from, he heard a sound that resembled the crying of a baby camel. He went down from the pulpit and made his way to the tree to embrace it. The Prophet used to stand by a stem of a date palm tree while delivering a sermon. When the pulpit was placed for him, we heard that stem crying like a pregnant she-camel till the Prophet got down from the pulpit and placed his hand over it. Sahih Bukhari quotes. Third, miracle of water that flowed from his hands. On the day of Al-Hudaybiyah Treaty, the people became very thirsty. After completing the ablution, the people had rushed towards the Prophet. He asked what was the matter with them. They replied that they had no water for ablution or drinking except a small pot of water, which clearly was not enough for them. So he then placed his hand into the pot and water started to flow from his fingers like a spring. Everyone drank and performed ablution that day. Sahih Bukhari quotes. The people became very thirsty on the day of Al-Hudaybiyah. A small pot containing some water was in front of the Prophet, and when he had finished the ablution, the people rushed towards him. He asked, "What is wrong with you?" They replied, "We have no water either for performing ablution or for drinking except what is present in front of you." So he placed his hands in that pot and the water started flowing. among his fingers like springs. We all drank and performed ablution from it. I asked Jabir, "How many were you?" He replied, "Even if we had been 100,000, it would have been sufficient for us, but we were 1,500. Fourth, Prophet Muhammad's miracle of the wedding dinner. When the Prophet consummated his marriage to Zainab bin Jahash, Anas bin Malik's mother s.a.w made them has, which is a mixture of pure Madina dates, only enough for the Prophet and his wife. When the Prophet received the dish from Anas bin Malik, he told him to invite so many companions that the narration mentioned about 300 were invited that day. He fed all of his guests until they were full. Once they were done, the Prophet told Anas bin Malik to take the dish away. As he took the dish away, he could not tell whether the dish was the same when he delivered or it increased in its capacity. Sahih al-Bukhari confirms and says, "The Messenger of Allah got married and consummated the marriage with his wife. He said, 'My mother s.a.w made some haze and I brought it to the Messenger of Allah and said, "My mother sends you greetings of salam and says to you, this is a little from us." He said, "Put it down." Then he said, "Go and call so and so and so and so, and whoever you meet," and he named some men. So I called those whom he named and those whom I met. I said to Anas, "How many were they?" He said, "About 300. Then the Messenger of Allah said, "Let them sit around the dish of food in groups of 10, one after the other, and let each person eat from what is closest to him." They ate until they were full. Then one group went out and then another group came in. He said to me, "Oh Anas, clear it away." So I cleared it away, and I do not know whether there was more when I cleared it away or when I put it down. The last one is the biggest miracle, the Quran. Although the miracles mentioned are extraordinary, none stake up to the greatest miracle of the Prophet, the Holy Quran. No Muslim can disagree that the final revelation from the final messenger is the undisputed, the greatest of his miracles. The miracle of the Holy Quran can be proven from multiple perspectives, from its historical precision, its linguistic perfection, to the many prophecies it accurately foretold. It is a book that was revealed to mankind through the Prophet that will remain unchanged until the end of time. Above all, the Quran presents a challenge to mankind to produce the likeness of it, a challenge that has lasted over 14 centuries uncontested. That is why the Holy Quran is the greatest miracle of the Prophet. The Quran challenges everyone and says, "If mankind and the jinn gathered in order to produce the like of this Quran, They could not produce the like of it, even if they were to each other assistants. Undoubtedly, Quran is the greatest miracle of the Prophet Muhammad. Subscribe our channel for further updates on Islam and human wisdom. Thanks.